it's Katie Arwood from the MCC Library on behalf of MCC Reads, and today I welcome special community member, past MCC employee, and currently the youth minister as well as lay pastor at First Congregational Church in Greenville, and he's going to share with us his thoughts on reading with Patrick as well as compassion and community. I'm so glad to have Claude with us today.
Hello, how you doing? I'm Claude Johnson, and I just want to talk a little bit about the book, Reading with Patrick. If you haven't read it, I would suggest you do, especially if you're an educator. So, but it's a pretty diverse book about just working with, actually working with a diverse population and helping kids to become better readers and understanding that books are okay. Books are actually fun, and that there's something inside of every one of us that needs to come out, so you can learn to, by reading, you can learn to write better and and communicate a lot better with others. One of the things is that in reading this, some of the students were really reluctant about even trying to read because in some of their homes they didn't even have books. And I'm aware of that because I'm a teacher myself, and I've run into kids. I've had an opportunity to work with young men that were incarcerated. And I met a young man that was, which this book helped me, brought me to mind of him, 21 years old at the time, and he didn't know how to read the written word. But the remarkable thing about this young man, he had a memory that was just phenomenal. He could remember your conversations you had 2 weeks later pretty much verbatim. And in talking to him, I told him he had it better than I did. And he didn't understand that at first, because he says, well, but you got a degree. I said, but I can't remember half the stuff. And so and I told him, your deal is you can remember everything, you just don't know what the printed word looks like. And so he did eventually learn to read, but I lost him because they moved him somewhere to another facility. So that in itself was kind of a letdown. But at the same time, he wanted to hand me the book that he was working on back, and because he was leaving the facility, and I told him to keep it and just finish reading it because it had a lot of short stories in it. What Ms. Cool was talking about is just not giving up. Mainly is not giving up on these kids, and just working with them and doing things to encourage them to be better. Changing attitudes is a big thing. In my classroom, I used to have a sign that says, attitude is a small thing that can make a big difference. So if you can just continue to encourage people to look at life in a different way than say what's right in front of them, and try to see the bigger picture, then it comes better. And I think that's what she accomplished with Patrick and the other students that she had, is that it encouraged them to become better people, better writers, even better readers. And the other side of that is that she had the element of some of her colleagues that didn't think it was going to ever work, or why are you doing this and why are you doing that? Well, I've had people even say that to me through the years, and I'm saying, why not? Because if someone doesn't try, then who? So that pretty much is where it's at. It's a really, I really enjoy reading this. And I'm definitely going to read it again, so I can probably learn more, because you don't always get everything when you read something the first time. Like I say, I do have that thing about like remembering all the time. I don't remember everything verbatim, but I don't forget much either. So, but it's just to recall. Sometimes it takes a minute to get it, especially the older I get. So, but other than that, it's a good book. So I would say, and I'm glad I was asked to be a part of this MCC Reads for this year, and I'm looking forward to maybe trying this again and reading a different book or whatever they suggested that MCC may suggest to read. I would be glad to do that and be a part of that, the whole process of encouraging people to become better readers and to expand their horizon through books. I mean, I know everyone has devices now, and but I still think the printed copy is still something that we should keep in our either home libraries or even have the libraries in the community continue to have